Alright, hello all, welcome back to Dragon Ball Z Dokkan battle video here. So we did have, the huge sort of update. There's not, as far as I saw, a lot of, like, any big sort of changes to the game that are, like, quality of life or anything. It does appear that they did a lot of stuff on the back end to prepare, probably for the big, like, 6.0 update, so we'll see what happens with that. But anyway, we did have that update, and then after the update, we did have a data download, which did have a world tournament, characters, cards, whatever, for tomorrow. So we do have a EZA for the Dragon Ball one, as well as 2 EZAs for world tournament cards, prize cards, Caulifa, Kale, and then this is either a new, I think this is a new awakening, or is it just a straight up new SSR? I think he's an awakening though, so we'll see how this goes. But I'm not expecting the most. But obviously we are going to be doing the breakdown and the defense calcs here, so we'll jump in. We'll see what's what, and let's just start off, working this way. So we'll start off with, I actually don't know this AREN giant form. Okay, what we got here, AREN? So int type key 3, 100% stats. She's greatly raising defense 1 turn, supreme damage, greatly lowers attack. Okay. Basic effects: 200% attack and defense. Covers 8% HP at the start of the turn, and a high chance of recovering an additional 8%. Okay, that's pretty good. Peppy Gal category allies get key 1, attack and defense 60%. Realm of Gods category allies get key 1, attack and defense 60%. And then Giant Form category allies get key 1, attack and defense 60%. The fuck? I imagine she's on all those, right? Those are only 3 categories. Okay. I mean, surely no character other than her gets like any of that support. Well, any like double supports, right? But she should get all 3. So I mean, I don't think there's there's not no Realm of God, Peppy Gal. I don't think there's any other. Well, actually, Giant Rebrienne would be Peppy Gal Giant form, right? So I guess that's one character, but I can't really think of any other characters that really fit several categories. But I mean, that's a lot of support. So if she's good, especially for Peppy Gals, that'd be nice. When all allies attacking on the same turn are Peppy Gals, Realm of Gods, or Giant form category characters. I believe that's the same sort of like condition that like Cell Max has, where it has to be like the entire thing, right? So it has to be all Peppy Gals, all Realm of Gods, or all Giant form. I think I could be wrong about that, but I think that's how that works. So do keep that in mind. So she's getting 50% chance to dodge from that, okay, and then she's getting an additional attack which has a 50% chance of becoming a super attack. When attacking with 12 or more keys, she gets 150% attack and defense. Pretty good. When HP is 60% or more, she gets key 3, attack and defense 200% up, and then damage reduction rate 30% up. Okay. She actually looks pretty good so far. Now, this is a condition that's going to check at the start of the turn. You keep that in mind. This will check at the start of the turn. But support, heal. I mean, technically she lowers enemy attack. She has a lot of stats. And then she also has, when HP is 60% or less, she gets 30% dodge and then a great chance of turning into giant form. Okay, and that's a once only. Very interesting. So she could technically have up to 80% chance to dodge, huh? So she has, this is 380%, 580%, with a phase 2 150. She's getting a greatly raised. What's her defense stat? Yeah, there's the catch. Yeah. Okay, well, what does her giant form have? Is it at least good for doing damage? She massively raises attack temporarily. Uh, Destructive damage to enemy. Basic effects key 3. For every key sphere obtained, 100% attack. Chance for a critical hit 20% up. What the fuck? 43,000. Okay. Because giant form characters have huge, or even like rage mods, they have huge attack stats. And that's actually, I think, probably on the lower end though. Because I think there's characters that even go up like 60 some odd thousand. That's on the lower end of that. Okay. Hmm. I mean, that's a lot. She could be, I think, for a world tournament card, like an easy A. I mean, she might be pretty good for like a Peppy Gal team. Now, once again, like I was saying with, Videl, Ranfan, Sheila, all of them, Peppy Gals has never been a real team. Well, maybe not never. I mean, there's been times like with Android 21, I think you could probably have made something work, right? But what we need to see, it has to be, and I did actually see there's some one of the things we saw with the update. There's a new feature coming to banners. Well, I don't know about new feature necessarily, but I think it's like a new way to display something. I forget the exact thing it was. But regardless, it did say there's a banner coming on the 29th. So is that going to be the Tanabata celebration start? Who knows? It could be. I think there's a very good chance. It could also be like a bait banner. Now, I will say, I probably should put it on my Twitter. I did do the monthly channel update. I do want to make sure to start saying this a couple of times. I'm actually going to, if Tanabata is in fact starting on the 29th, I'm actually going to be out of town for a couple of days. So I will cover everything once I get back, but that would be some real inconvenient timing. But I mean, it is what it is. So we'll cross that bridge once we get there, I guess. But yeah, she looks pretty good for a Peppy Gal character, but once again, like I was saying with Vidal, Rand, and Sheila, I think Bosch is kind of trash. They need a new lead, like an actual lead, not fucking Roshi's old ass. I hate his design, and Roshi should never have been disrespected with that god awful design. That's fucking Roshi. Are you kidding me? It's so distasteful that they did that to him. But we need an actual 220 lead for this, and not like 170 plus or 200 plus 170. Blah 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 blah. Be like Glorio. Give me a Caulifa. Give me a Caulifa for the next Dokkan Fest with the Yellow Coin LR at the end of the celebration, right? Give me a Caulifa that's 220 to Peppy Gals, and then it's like Berserk Kale at the Yellow Coin LR at the end of the celebration. Something like that is what we need for Peppy Gals. These characters have a chance, but I guess we'll see. Alright, she looks decent though. I mean, her stats are very, very low, so I think she's going to be bad. But the baseline actually is pretty decent. So I guess we'll see. I mean, as long as maybe she's just like serving as a floater, I think she could potentially be good. So we'll see what the Calcs at the end. Okay, next we do have Caulifa here. Super int type key 3, HP attack and defense 120% up. She's raising attack, greatly raising defense, supreme damage to enemy, and greatly lowers attack. Now, she was already a stacker. Yeah, 20% to both. So she gained 50% to defense. That's pretty interesting. Okay. What do we got? Oh, pretty long. Basic effects. Please be good. She does have a lot of dodge, by the way. And I think she needed like Kale in the rotation and stuff like that. So maybe she'll be good. Maybe she won't. We'll see. Basic effects, she gets 160% attack and defense. So she gets at the start of the turn. Her Universe 6 or Peppy Gal category ally on the team, depending on which has more members. She gets 30% attack and defense, so that's up to 210%. And she gets chance from a critical hit, 6%, so that's up to 42%. Okay. When there is an ally whose name includes Kale on the team, okay, attack 160% up, great chance of evading enemy attack, launches an additional super attack. When there's an ally whose name includes Kale attacking in the same turn, chance of evading enemy attack 10% up. So she has 80% chance to dodge while being a stacker. Okay. For one turn from the character's entry turn, she gets chance of evading enemy attack 10%. So her first turn, she has 90% chance to dodge. That's actually pretty crazy, honestly. Especially because if I'm thinking about like the Universe 6 team, I mean, someone like Hit, you know, is obviously going to need time to get built up. She could help provide that. Okay. For every attack evaded, she gets 30% attack and defense, up to 90%. And then after performing 6 or more attacks in battle, she gets an additional attack that has a great chance of becoming a super attack. I think she looks pretty good. I mean, this is the only phase 2 she gets, 90%, not a lot. But she's greatly stacking defense. She could, with a hidden potential, do 4 supers a turn. What is her 9,000? I still think she could be pretty good, but that is kind of low. I mean, once again, these are all free-to-play, like, World Tournament cards. I said at the beginning I didn't expect too much from them. Once again, though, I think she has a decent baseline. That raw defensive stat is so low, so I don't know, but this could be good. I do think that this is kind of low, but, I mean, she is greatly raising defense. If you do get a lot of... And the thing is, this is only 6 or more attacks in battle. It's not super attacks, so if you are having hidden potential, even if you get normals, unfortunately, it is still going to contribute. So you could technically have this in 2 appearances. More likely going to be 3. Could even potentially be... No. It'd just be 3 at the max. It should be at least. As long as you have... Well, if you... No. At the end of the 3rd one, you definitely... Okay. And this actually, by the way, should proc on the same turn that you get it, I think. I could be wrong about that, but it doesn't say starting from the next turn. So that's something to note. Yeah, I think she might be decent. We'll have to see, but at least for a World Tournament card, once again, and, you know, Peppy Gals could use the help. As long as they get an actual lead, pretty decent. Now here we have Kale. She was also a stacker before. I think she had guard was her sort of gimmick. And she also needed like Caulifa on the turn and stuff like that. So we'll see what we got here. Super Tech type key 3, 120% stats. She's greatly raising defense. Raises defense 20%. Supreme damage enemy greatly lowers defense. Yeah, if she's meant as the character to... Like, if she actually has to take hits, shouldn't she be the one, like, greatly raising defense? Am I crazy here? I feel like it's a fatal flaw immediately. If she wants to avoid getting hit, and she's going to get hit, right? I mean, shouldn't these be swapped? Because they were both the same fucking thing beforehand. Oh, well, she lowered attack instead. But yeah, I that's really questionable why they decided to go that route. Okay, basic effects, 260% stats. Universe 6 or Peppy Gals are getting key 2, 40% attack and defense. And then Pure Saiyan category allies get attack and defense 20% up, so 60% stats, pretty good. When there's an ally whose name includes Caulifa on the team, she gets 160% defense, great chance of guarding all attacks, launches an additional super attack. When there is an ally whose name includes Caulifa attacking in the same turn, she guards all attacks, so great you need the Caulifa. Whereas with Caulifa, as long as Kale's on the team, I mean, you're good. Obviously, this helps quite a lot, but this is like you sort of need Caulifa on the turn, whereas this is just like a huge help. Okay, for 1 turn from the character's entry turn, she gets an additional super attack. Okay. When attacking with 12 or more keys, she gets 120% attack and defense. And then after performing 6 or more attacks in battle, she gets an additional attack that has a great chance of becoming a super. And then 9,332. Yeah, I like her significantly less. I mean, she has a 30% more phase 2, but I don't understand why she would only 20% raise defense. Okay, whatever. Little Windows 11 widget popped up. I don't understand why she would. I don't know. This effect is really rubbing me the wrong way. I don't understand this. If she wants to get hit, why the hell does she have the lower? Right? I mean that makes sense. I'm not just complaining to complain here. I feel like that's really stupid design. If this character is trying to avoid getting hit, and this character wants to get hit, but she's going to be a really good tank, or at least that's what she's meant to be, why the hell does she stack defense less? It doesn't. It should have been swapped. So I don't know. I'm not a big fan of that. I think because she doesn't even have guard's not enough these days, as crazy as it is. And she's only 20% stacking. She's definitely gonna suck. Unfortunate. All right, what do you got for us, Yamcha? Is this an awakening? Or yes, it is an awakening. Okay. Yeah, I couldn't remember if this was just a new card in an awakening. So, Super Tech type T3, HP attack and defense 90% up. Use greatly rising attack and defense for 1 turn. Supreme damage to the enemy with a high chance of stunning. Pretty decent. Basic effects. Attack and defense 200% up. High chance of evading enemy attack. High chance of forming critical hits. That's pretty good. Per tournament participant or Turtle School category ally on the team, depending on which category has more members. Okay. He gets 50% attack and defense up to 250. Now, this does count him. So you'd only need 4 others, but that still is a pretty big ask. But maybe on like a Dragon Ball Saga team, he could be pretty decent, depending on how you set it up. When there's another tournament participants or Turtle School category ally attacking in the same turn, Key 4, chance evading enemy attack 20% up, and launches an additional super attack. 70% chance to dodge. Okay. Double greatly raised super. That's pretty good. When attacking with 12 or more key, 200% attack and defense. Okay. He might be pretty decent for. Well, what is his? 7,595. Yeah, sure, buddy. When HP is 86% or more, he is getting 200% defense with 20% damage reduction. And then when HP is 86% or less, he gets 200% attack and 50% chance to crit. This is kind of weird that it's so like high up. Like you only have 14% wiggle room. That's kind of odd. He has a lot of stats. He can have up to 650% defense. With 70% chance to dodge, 20% damage reduction really isn't a lot. I mean, he might be decent on like a Dragon Ball Saga team. It's like a fill option. 70% chance to dodge. That's something at least. But once again, I mean, this shit is way too low. I feel like all of these cards are just way too low raw defense. I guess we'll see in just a moment. I'm gonna get to doing the calcs, so we'll cut away. We'll come back in just a moment, and we'll see just how good all these guys are. They look kind of meh as a batch overall to me, but I think maybe like Caulifa or AREN could have some potential. So we'll see what the numbers say, right? We'll be right back. Alrighty then, we are back here. I did get all the calcs done, and I mean it's it's a world tournament match. You know, I feel like that's the best way to start this out. It's a world tournament match. I think we all know what that entails. So, that being said, we're starting out with AREN here. Actually, she's kind of decent, depending on the situation. For Peppy Calcs, right? I mean, her only 200% lead right now is Roshi. So, take that as that is. Fuck a 220. Only 200% is Roshi. Which is what I was saying earlier. We need a Peppy Gal lead that is just straight up 220 to Peppy Gal. Another huge issue with this category is they market it, and you can check this on fucking Twitter. They call this, they fucking market the category as the girl power category. If I go to the Dokkan Twitter right now, they posted something the other day. Let's see if I can find it. It was a little, yeah, here. Girl power arrives. Dragon Ball heroines assemble. Videl and Ran fans show up as new characters. Tap the image to check out the info on the upcoming characters. They market it as girl power, but that's not what it is. It's Peppy Gals. It's like different. It's different because the way they consider it, it doesn't include characters like Chi-Chi, like when youth, right, or Pan, stuff like that. It doesn't even, like, I think like Vados, for example, isn't on it, stuff like that. So there's just a lot of characters that if we're making a girl category, because there's not a lot of girl characters in Dragon Ball, fair enough. But just make it the fucking girl category. Don't be, well, you're actually excluded, you're excluded. Like, no, it just should be all of them. That does hurt this category, so they need an actual 220, and they need to redefine how the category is. And they've done some stuff like that before, not necessarily redefine a category, but added characters that should have been in the category to it. I'm not saying it will happen, but they have rectified that sort of thing before. So hopefully, we'll see them eventually do it. I don't have a lot of hope, but for what she is, depending on, she can have 80% dodge, damage reduction, and everything. She has a lot of support. I mean, it's really only, it's only ever gonna really be 60%, but 60% is a lot, So I think she's actually decent for what she is, especially considering this is a 200% lead. She's a free-to-play card, but I wouldn't say she's like an actual option. Then we go down to Caulifa here. Now, this is her sort of first turn. I decided just to give her full dodge build-up, as if you're like putting her in slot 1 or something. Because, I mean, she technically has 90% chance to dodge as long as there's a KO on the rotation that first turn. I mean, she actually is a pretty good, I mean, if you get hit, you're dead, right? But she's pretty good as a slot 1. And then we go down here, and she actually, I mean, she starts to build up pretty quickly, all things considered. So I think they definitely did a good job with her. I don't know. I think she's like an actual option. Excuse me. An actual option that you could run on Universe 6. Even Peppy Gals, right? But then you'd need like Kale, and it's just a lot harder to do that. Specifically Universe 6, because obviously there's the Carnival lead, which I suppose I should mention. I don't have that like active skill support factored in here, so do keep that in mind. Obviously that would be a decent buff. But yeah, so technically, can be pretty crazy, potentially. I mean, as long as she's getting the dodges. However, I don't know. It's just something about this rubs me the wrong way. Still. Here we have Kale. I got all of her stuff on one page. I don't understand this. I mean, why does she get the 20% raise, and Caulifa gets a 50%? Caulifa wants to dodge everything. She wants to tank everything. She is guard. Why? And you just like look. I mean, I don't know. I don't know what they were thinking, because it's like the amount of damage these fights are starting to do at this point. It's crazy. Genuinely, it's crazy. I mean, you show this to a Dokkan player even 1 fucking year ago, they're gonna call you mad, So, if you just consider that, right? And, I mean, it's like, her first turn, I mean, she's even getting melted by fucking normals, isn't she? Like, especially if you don't get that, like, third attack. It's like, or third additional, excuse me. So I don't really know what the thought process is with giving her the 20% raise. It's a terrible decision. It really makes her, like, kind of unrunnable. Very unfortunate. I suppose if there's, like, a long universe 6 Peppy Gal sort of mission, fight, whatever, you can use her as a stacking character and just hide her and stuff, you know, to fill out the team. But otherwise, she looks kind of bad to me. And then we have Yamcha. I'd say Yamcha's actually overall pretty decent. I mean, he definitely gets up to a higher defensive value than I thought he would, 2.7 mil. However, this is only above 86%, which obviously is a very, very slim margin. And we go down to the 2 mil there. And while he's still, I mean, he does have 70% chance to dodge. I don't think it's enough. I don't know. I don't think these are a bunch of World Tournament cards. I think Caulifa's probably the best by far. She actually is pretty decent as long as you have a Kale on the team and specifically on the rotation. Well, I mean, for the extra dodge, but technically you don't even need that. As long as you have her, as long as you have Kale on the team and it's full Peppy Galts or full Universe 6, she'll be really good. So I think they did a good job with her, but maybe like AREN you can get away with, but otherwise I don't. Like Yamcha, maybe if you need a fill option, maybe. Kale, I really don't see it. But there we go. I suppose we can wrap this one up here. It's a World Tournament match. I mean, I expected it, you know. So it is what it is. Well, on this one here, thank you all for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Take care.